What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure you guys go hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit the like button as well. And make sure you guys have the notification bell on so that way you guys can be notified when I make another video. So today I figured I would do something a little bit different. I have done movie reviews and TV show reviews and things like that. But as you can see by the title, I wanted to take it a little bit farther. Now, bear with me, guys, because this video is going to be a little bit longer, but it is worth it. Okay, so I am giving you guys the 1980s cartoons. Now, if you grew up in this era, you may know most of them, if not all of them, maybe some of them. But I need you guys to comment below your favorite, and if I missed one that wasn't on the list, because I know that there's probably hundreds more. If I missed one, make sure you guys put that in the comments as well, and I will go check that one out. But these are just the ones that I was more familiar with. There is a couple that I really didn't watch, but I've seen them before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a picture in the top corner of the cartoon, and then I'm going to talk about it as much as I knew about it, okay? So let's get into the video. The first one is Chip and Dale. Y'all, listen, Chip and Dale was one of my favorite cartoons. I love both of them. It kept me so, entertained as a child, and even, as an adult, I would not mind rewatching Chip and Dale. Okay, they were just amazing little characters. They were just so cute because they were so small, and they rescue people. Like Chip and Dale, Rescue Ranger, Chip and Dale. Okay, so yes, my number one is Chip and Dale. All right, you guys. So number two is Inspector Gadget. Ooh, Inspector Gadget. Another one of my favorite cartoons. Guys, I'm going to sit there and say probably favorite cartoons for a lot of them, but these are just the ones that I watched, whether it was in the morning before school or they had Saturday morning cartoons as well. The only thing that got me mad with the morning cartoons when you were going to school is it seems like they always put the one that you really, really wanted to watch right when you had to leave to go to school. And it really sucked. But Inspector Gadget was one of my favorites. I like Penny. I like the dog. But it was just cool how he had all the little gadgets on his coat, and he would pull the button and he would puff up, and his hat was like a little propeller and things like that. So it was really fun watching it, especially as a child, because you were like, wow, that's amazing that he could do that. So the second one is Inspector Gadget. But I did want to let you guys know, Chip and Dale, it came out in 1989. Okay, so I don't know what year that anybody else was born, but it came out in 1989. Inspector Gadget came out in 1983, so it was a little bit older than Chip and Dale, but still very good. All right, the third one is Thundercats. Thundercats was, it was that action, that kind of show that you just always wanted to watch. Sorry about that, guys. I had a call. But the third one, again, was Thundercats. Thundercats came out in 1985. And it's weird because, I'm not going to give my age, y'all, but I was born, close to that time. So it's just weird that I was watching it going to school when, I wasn't watching it, right when it came out. I was just watching the morning cartoons, but it was a good show. Like I said, a lot of action in it. It was just back then, the graphics to us was really good, because we didn't know about, new technology that comes out now. But to us, it didn't bother us. If you look at it now, everybody looks at it and oh my God, you guys actually watched this? Yes. And we loved it. All right. So that was number 3, Thundercats. All right, so number 4 is HeMan. HeMan by the power of Grayskull. Okay, so HeMan, and y'all, if y'all don't know by now, you're going to realize I was a tomboy, okay? I love to play with anything that had to do with, like, boy stuff. Like, I was into Matchbox cars. I was into, like, Batman figurines, things like that. Like, I was into that. Yes, I did have my dolls when I was little, but I liked playing with cars. I collected so many cars. I had HeMan. I had Gringer. I had Skeletor. I had the castle. Like, I literally had this whole set, and it, like, had all, like, the lights and, like, the sounds and things like that on it. So I was really amazed, like, as a child. Like, I would sit there literally, if I didn't have school, I would literally sit there and watch HeMan while I had my play set, like, literally right in front of me. So HeMan, yes. I think HeMan kind of tops it because it was something you looked forward to watching. Okay? And I need you guys also to, like, put in the comments, like, if you have watched any of these, like, what you think of the cartoons. Did you have one that was, more favorite than the other one? Or, you kind of couldn't pick because they were all good, which that's the way I am, because this whole list, guys, which is a lot, has a lot of favorites on it. That's why I said it's going to be a little bit longer, because I actually wanted to sit there and talk about them as well. But there, like I said, there's some that I didn't know as well as the other ones. Like, I've seen them, but I didn't watch them. Okay, so number 5, Heathcliff. Heathcliff, no one should terrorize your neighborhood. Listen, Heathcliff and Garfield were, like, 2 of my favorites. Heathcliff, I like his little chunky ass. I mean, it's not his chunky ass, but, like, he's so like a puffball, and he's so adorable. But his sidekicks, Mongo and Wordsworth and Chloe, like, they just made, like, the best team. Even though, like, Mongo, like, he was kind of all, like, you know what I mean? But Wordsworth, he always riding around in them little skates and things. And Chloe, Heathcliff, of course, had the biggest crush on Chloe. But yeah, so Heathcliff, I usually watch Heathcliff on Saturdays, because I wasn't able to see a lot of the cartoons that was coming on, because of course you had to go to school, so I had to watch them other days. And we didn't have, like, things where you could go on demand and pick things like that when we were little. We just had to watch them on TV. Okay, so that was Heathcliff. Actually, okay, HeMan came out in 1983. Heathcliff came out in 1984. And these are all in the 80s. All right, so the next one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It has grown over the decades because it, with the graphics and the way that they made the turtles. But 1987 is when the Turtles came out. Okay, and they weren't, like, detailed or, like, nothing like that, because if you remember, whenever they first started the show, they were babies. Okay, and I guess they were flooded. It was flooded, and they went into the sewer and everything like that. And that's how Splinter came about, raising them as his own, and they lived in the sewer. And of course, they love their pizza and stuff like that. And my favorite one was Raphael. And everybody's always like, why do you like him? He had the biggest attitude, and he was the meanest. And that's why I like him, because he was rough. Michelangelo was kind of like the dorky one of the bunch. Leonardo, like, he was like, oh, I'm the leader. I'm the tough one. I didn't like that. Like, I didn't like that he felt like he was the leader of the bunch, and it should have just been all of them. Donatello, I do like Donatello, but my favorite was Raphael. So there is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1987. All right, so the next one is G.I. Joe. I didn't really watch G.I. Joe. I've seen it. I may have watched maybe like one episode, maybe 2. I didn't get into G.I. Joe until they actually made the movie. G.I. Joe, that's whenever I started watching it. So G.I. Joe came out in 1983. I did have a few of the dolls, the figures of the G.I. Joe. I don't want to say dolls because people are like, they're not dolls. But yeah, G.I. Joe, 1983. Transformers. That is the next one. Transformers. More than meets the eye. I am a huge fan of Transformers. I love the movies that they have out now. They do have a cartoon movie. I don't know if it came out or if it's just coming out, but they do have a new one that's coming out. And I wish that they, like, I do like the movie ones, like with the real people. But, you know, when you think of Transformers, you're thinking of cartoon. And the only difference is like some of the characters in the cartoon transformed into something different than they did in the actual movie. Okay? Megatron was a gun in the cartoon, but he wasn't in the movie. So they did switch up a little bit of stuff, which, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's kind of hard to transform into a gun unless somebody else was using it. Like, with the Decepticons, somebody else would have had to have used the gun, and I guess they wanted to make him an actual robot so he could fight and, you know, whatever. But yes, Transformers, 1984. Y'all, go check these old cartoons out because they are, like, the best. And it takes you, like the title says, it takes you back down memory lane whenever you look at these because you're like, oh my God, I remember. And it just puts you in such a good mood. So I was going through, like, these yesterday. And I was just like, wow. I'm like, I gotta make a video on these because I'm sure that there's other people on YouTube that are my YouTube family that would love to take a trip down memory lane with me and, you know, go through these cartoons. Unfortunately, I couldn't put the videos on here because I didn't want to get flagged for copyright, so I just put the picture. So there's the Transformers. And like I said, Transformers was like 1984. All right, so the next one is Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I did watch Spider-Man. I didn't remember that it was called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I just thought it was Spider-Man. But I did watch a couple episodes. I didn't watch a lot of them, so I don't really know too much about it. I know about Spider-Man, you know, because of the movies and stuff like that. So I do know about Spider-Man. I just don't know about the cartoon to actually let you guys know, you know, how I feel about it. So there's Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That was in 1981. All right, so the next one is Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters I didn't watch too much of, but the episodes that I did watch, I really enjoyed it because I love Ghostbusters. I, you know, am a fan of Ghostbusters themselves, the movie, you know, rest in peace, Spangler. But I was a fan of Ghostbusters when the first movie came out. And I think it was because of the couple episodes that I did watch of the cartoon that made me want to watch Ghostbusters, the movie. I love Slimer. Like, he's just, like, the cutest. Even though, like, you know, he's not a good guy, but he's not a bad guy. He just likes to eat things. So that's Ghostbusters that came out in 1986. All right, the next one is Mask. This one did not run very long. It was canceled. I think it was only like one season of it. Not sure why. I didn't watch it. I've seen the previews for the cartoon, but I've never actually watched it, so I can't tell you guys about it, but this is the picture right here of Mask. All right, so the next one is Incredible Hulk. That came out in 1982. If anybody knows Hulk, Hulk is just a regular guy, but something happened that he can turn into this big, huge man that when he gets angry, this is what happens. If you've seen the movie, then you know what Hulk does. Hulk is not a bad person. He's not a villain. He's a good guy, but he just He just has anger issues that makes him turn into this big ass monster. But I like the Hulk. Lou Ferrigno played the Hulk in the movie. They did have a newer Hulk. Lou Ferrigno didn't play it. They had a new one, a new actor. But yeah, overall, I mean, I like Hulk. Okay, so that was in 1982. So the next one is DuckTales. Yo, I absolutely love DuckTales. Woo! So I know you guys are probably all sitting there when I say this. You guys are probably all remembering the theme songs to them, and I could remember them as I'm watching it, but like to just say it, like it's, yeah. But yeah, DuckTales was one of my favorites. It came out in 1987. That's one of the ones that I watched on Saturdays because they didn't have it on during the week whenever I went to school. So, DuckTales. All right, so the next one is the Pound Puppies. Pound Puppies is another one that didn't last too long, but I actually did have the plush Pound Puppies. Like, I was collecting them, and I love them. Like, I love Pound Puppies. But that's the picture of it right there. I don't know if anybody's seen the cartoon of it. Like I said, it didn't last too long, but I love the cartoon. All right, so the next one is Strawberry Shortcake. It started out in the 70s, but then over like the years, it kind of evolved into like this different character because, you know, as the years went on, technology changed. So they kind of upgraded her, and like the very latest one, it was like you didn't even recognize her at all. Like I was so disappointed whenever I was going through this and I seen how it evolved over the years. And you can look it up on YouTube. All you do is just say, type in Strawberry Shortcake over the years, and it'll show you. And it kind of is like how like the Bratz in that are. Like I don't know if anybody ever seen the Bratz, but it's kind of like that. It's like a more of like I don't even want to say 3D. It's more of like the big eyes and the big, you know, makeup and everything. It's just, it's very disappointing because Strawberry Shortcake was not like that. But this is the Strawberry Shortcake that I actually watched. And like I said, that started out in the 70s and it went for years. Okay, the next one is Garfield. You guys see Garfield? I like Odie. Odie was my favorite. Even though I like Garfield, Odie I think was my favorite. And I think that's why I watched the show is because of Odie. Because, you know, he was always like, always wanting to be lovey-lovey with Garfield. And Garfield was like, just get away from me. And then it evolved. Like, it lasted a little bit. It started, I think, in like 1988 or something like that. And it ran for a while. And then they ended up turning it into a movie. So it was cool though. Like they had, I think there was 2 of them that came out. It was Garfield and then the Garfield and the Tale of the Two Kitties or something like that. But the movie was actually even good too. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go check the cartoon out first. See what you guys think. It's kind of like almost like Heathcliff. It's like they're brothers, but they had separate cartoons. So yes, Garfield 1988. If you guys have seen the cartoon, let me know what you guys think in the comment. All right, y'all. I apologize again. It was another phone call. I'm putting this on silent. All right. So, yeah, like I was saying, Garfield, I love watching Garfield, but I think the main reason why I watch Garfield is because of Odie. So, there's Garfield. Okay. So, the next one is Sheira, Princess of Power. I love this cartoon for the fact is that they had an actual woman that was powerful. Okay, you had HeMan, you had the Thundercats, you had the Transformers. You know, among the other male heroes, this one actually was the female. So I really enjoyed watching. I didn't get to watch it a lot because of the time that it came on. But when I was able to catch it, my eyes were like glued to the TV. So this is Sheira, Princess of Power. This one came out in 1985. Like, I can't believe half of these, like, dates that these are coming out, because, like, I just feel like I was so little, which I was, but, alright, so the next one is Beetle Juice. Just don't say his name 3 times. Of course, everybody knows Beetle Juice. Everybody knows Michael Keaton, who plays Beetle Juice. But the cartoon, I didn't get into the cartoon. I didn't start watching, like, I didn't get into Beetle Juice until I watched the first movie. And that was with Winona Ryder. And it was fun. Like, it was funny, but then, like, when you're younger, if you watch something like that, it's kind of creepy, I guess. I mean, I would think. Because, you know, like, he looks like this ferocious, like, evil monster, but he's not, like, he's evil, but he's not like the other villains that you would see in movies. I thought it was way more hilarious, you know, even, like, especially when they were doing that 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me won't go home. So it was funny, like, to me. I haven't been able to watch the new Beetlejuice yet. I do want to go to the movies to go see it, but I think I might just wait till it comes on TV and just rent it that way, because it'll probably be a little bit cheaper. So yeah, Beetlejuice. I don't know if anybody else has seen the cartoon. If you guys have, just put it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys thought of it. But that was in 1989. Okay, so the next one is Brave Star. There's Brave Star right there. I have never watched Brave Star. I've seen it, but I've never watched it, so I kind of can't tell you about it. So that was in 1987. Like I said, some of you may know these cartoons that I don't know. If you guys do know them, just, you know, drop a comment. All right, so the next one is Mr. T. Mr. T was a big deal, like, as far as the TV show, the A-Team. I've never watched the cartoon. Mr. T came out in 1983. I've never seen the cartoon. I've seen commercials and previews for it, but I never actually watched it. I don't even know what times and what days it came on. But I do love Mr. T. He's like the best, with all his gold chains around his neck and his little mohawk thing and all that. He's just cool. All right, so next is Elvin, Simon, Theodore. Do, 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 do. All right, so Elvin and the Chipmunks was... I had the actual record. That was the Elvin and the Chipmunks record. And it was so, like, funny. And, like, I loved listening to it because I just liked their little voices. My favorite was Theodore with his little chunky self. He was my favorite. Elvin and the Chipmunks came out, I think it was, like, around 1983, somewhere around there, with their cartoon. And then, of course, like any other cartoon, most of them evolve into, like, movies. Okay, so you have, let me see, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, SpiderMan, Ghostbusters, The Incredible Hulk, Beetlejuice, Mr. T had the A-Team, and then there's Elvin and Chipmunks. And then the list I still have a little bit left in the list. I probably have like 20 almost. And you're going to know that some of these had movies as well. So I'll let you guys know whenever I get to it. But Elvin and the Chipmunks, Elvin was the leader. And it seemed like they always got into some kind of trouble. And they always relied on Elvin to lead them and take care of them. Simon, he was like the brains of the bunch. And Theodore was just this little chunky, just little cute thing. Like, I don't even, like, they're chipmunks, obviously. But, like, he was just so... Theodore was just, like, the most adorable. But yeah, so if you guys haven't seen the cartoon, go check it out. I loved watching the cartoon. If you guys have not heard their record, go listen to it. Like, it literally, it's so fun to listen to. And then the movies, of course. The next one is the Smurfs. That's another one that had movies that came out. Neil Patrick Harris played in one of them. The Smurfs cartoon came out in 1981. I always liked watching the Smurfs because, like, again, they were just like so small and just so cute. Like, and I love Papa Smurf. I think him and trying to think of the other one, the one that always looked in the mirror. Them two. Comment below if you remember what his name is. There's so many Smurfs, and I used to know like every single one of them, and I just off the top of my head I can't think right now. But yeah, so Smurfs came out in 1981 as the cartoon. They did really, really well, and it just franchised into a movie. Actually, more than one movie. So make sure you guys go check that out. Comment below if you guys watched the cartoon, if you liked it. Okay, the next one is Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. They had separate cartoons, but they were in a lot of them together. They also had his uncle. I don't know if you remember the white dog. His uncle was in them too. Scooby-Doo is, I probably think, is one of the longest running shows, like the cartoons, because they always had something to talk about in the shows. Like, it was always a monster. There was always a different villain that they could always have. So it was really, really popular. And then, like, of course, they franchised, and Scooby-Doo was a movie as well. But Scooby-Doo, 1982, like, that just seems like it's, like, forever ago, you know, because you think, depending on when you guys were born, when you guys grew up, and what you guys watched, Scooby-Doo was very popular. Like I said, there was Scooby-Doo, there was Scrappy-Doo, there was a pup named Scooby-Doo, you know, so there was a lot of cartoons that was based on Scooby-Doo. Even Scrappy-Doo had Scooby-Doo in it. And of course, then the uncle. But yeah, so 1982 that came out. Another one that I just absolutely love watching. And some of these too were actually video games. Like, I don't know if you guys remember like the old like regular Nintendos or like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, like things like that. They actually made video games. Like the Turtles was on the regular Nintendo. I used to have that when I was younger. And I used to love playing it. Now, like, you look at the graphics and you're just kind of like, oh, like, why did I play this? But back then we didn't care because we loved playing it. All right, so the next one is Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, I didn't watch the cartoon, really. I just like Tigger. Tigger was my favorite. But other than that, like, I didn't... It's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't get into the Winnie the Pooh cartoon. And then, y'all, listen, it made it worse. Now, Winnie the Pooh came out in 1988, I think it was. Y'all, they had the nerve to make a movie with Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh was like the sweetest, chunky, fat little bear, and they turned him into a freaking monster in this movie. And it was so corny. Like, it just looked like some angry man dressed up in a bear costume that went around killing people. It was so dumb. Like, shame on the producer of that movie, because it was just the stupidest movie ever. So yeah, Winnie the Pooh. Then there was Dennis the Menace, which came out in like 1986. Dennis the Menace, even as the cartoon, like, you got so frustrated with him because he was just like, I'm not going to say the worst child, because that's very rude to say, but he was just like, ooh, like, I'm so glad like that he wasn't my child, because he would have had a lot of timeouts. He wouldn't have had no games, no nothing, because he was just so bad that, like, nobody even wanted him around because he was so bad. And I know underneath that, like, that mean, devilish kind of attitude that he had, he was very sweet, but yeah, he just... And then they came out with the movie, of course, which made it even funnier because he was just, it was between him and that movie Problem Child. If them two would have got together, like, it would have been over. All right, so that was Dennis the Menace. If you guys haven't seen it, it's right there. That's the cartoon that came out in I think it was like 1986 or something like that. Okay, the next one is The Littles. I didn't really get too much into watching The Littles. I have seen a few of the episodes before. These were just like little elves or elf-like looking people. But it was like 1980, let me see, 1980, 88, 89, somewhere around there, that The Littles came out. And like I said, the couple episodes that I did watch, it was alright. Like, I didn't really, I don't know if it was just because, like, I didn't get into it, or if it was just that, like, my mind was preoccupied of either, like, going outside or, you know, something like that, that I just wasn't really, really paying attention to it. But, yeah, The Littles, right there. Okay, so the next one is Galaxy Rangers, 1986. I didn't really watch. I did a little bit of research on it, but not too much because I haven't watched it, so I can't kind of give you my opinion on it. Just like any, you know, kind of like a superhero movie, I guess. I guess that's what you would call it. But yeah, I can't really say much because I don't really know about it. I'm just giving you guys like some of the cartoons that I went through, and you know, that's it. Okay, so the next one is, this was also around the same time as Galaxy Rangers, 1986, somewhere around there. Teddy Ruxpin. If anybody knows Teddy Ruxpin was this awesome bear that you actually had, like, it was a plush bear, but it had a tape recorder, a tape thing in the center of his stomach, and you could put a tape in, and it plays it. And it usually comes with a tape, but you can buy other ones, which I've known some people that they tried to put, like, actual cassette tapes in it to play it. Not sure if it worked or not, but yeah, so Teddy Ruxpin, he was, I didn't watch the cartoon, but I know about Teddy Ruxpin because I had one. Like I said, just a plush bear, and he had that little cassette area in his stomach that you could put his tape, and he like reads a story or, you know, whatever to you. So Teddy Ruxpin, everybody knows Teddy, right? All right, so the next one is Dino Saucers. I never seen this. I actually, when I was going through this list, I was like, Dino Saucers. Like, I'm like, and they're actually dinosaurs, but like they're, I guess, crime fighting dinosaurs, I guess. I don't really know. That's Dino Saucers right there. All right, so the next one is Mario Brothers Super Show. I love the Mario Brothers. I have played the Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3 on the Nintendo, and I was so hooked on this game. Like, I played it so much because, you know, like, it's Mario Brothers. 1989 they came out, and they have been a hit ever since then because they have a movie. Donkey Kong is in it. Luigi, like, it's just Mario Brothers. Like, there's not much I could say. It's just Mario Brothers. Like, they are, like, the best. I love them. Mario Brothers. All right, the next one is My Little Pony. I had literally the whole set of My Little Pony. Like, I had the ones with the glitter hair. I had the regular ones. I had pink, purple, blue, whatever color you could think of. I had them. And I just absolutely loved them because back then, like, I loved horses, and I still love them to this day, but I like the Black Beauty horse. Just so amazing, like the silky, you know, black color, and it was amazing. Have yet to ride a black horse, but I have rode horses before. But My Little Pony came out in like 1984. They had the cartoon, and And it was actually a pretty good show. Like, it did have a long run to it. I watched it Saturday mornings. If I didn't catch it on Saturday mornings, sometimes they rerun it. So I was able to catch it, like, you know, when it wasn't on the regular time. So I was able to catch it. Okay, the next one is Turbo Teen. It was 1984. Turbo Teen, this is the picture right here. So Turbo Teen, when I looked at Turbo Teen, I seen it. I was just like, why would they do that? Like, this is an actual car that's a human. And what happened was the boy got into a car accident. A tree fell and he ran off this hillside and I guess hit into this secret government laboratory, and it changed him. That he was able to go from human to a car. Like I said, I never watched it, but the first thing that I thought when I seen the actual commercial like thing for it, because they showed like the intro thing, was Knight Rider. Because he turned into the car and like he was able to talk to people through the screen, like the radio. So that was the first thing I thought of, but that's Turbo Teen right there. Okay, so I got the last four. This was Danger Mouse. I watched Danger Mouse, but not like excessively. Like, I wasn't like a big, huge fan of it, but I have seen it before. Like, he is this little white mouse that has like this little bandana kind of thing across him, like a crime fighter. He came out in like 1981. I haven't really got into like watching it, and it kind of reminded me when I did see it. It kind of reminded me, which I forgot to put that one on there, was Mighty Mouse. I don't know if anybody knows about Mighty Mouse. Okay, but if you haven't, go check it out because Mighty Mouse is cool. All right, so the next one is Rambo. I actually got to cross that one out because I did that one already. Mask. Rambo. I had no clue that they made an actual cartoon Rambo, but they did. But like I said, it wasn't, maybe because it wasn't very long running, it was only for that 1 year that I didn't watch it. But it was supposed to be Sylvester Stallone, but if you listen to it, it didn't really sound like him that much. So, Rambo. The next one is RoboCop, which only lasted, like I said, 1 season as well. Everybody, I'm sure you guys know about RoboCop. You know, this cop that was a robot. But I've watched the movie. Actually, there was a couple of them. I watched the movie. It was alright, but not something I would be like, oh my god, I want to watch RoboCop. It was, yeah. So, RoboCop. The cartoon. Like I said, the last one that I was going to do was just the Mighty Mouse. I don't remember what year it came out. But yeah, I love Mighty Mouse. I loved watching it. I think I watched that on Saturdays because they didn't have it on during the day. So, that is my list of the 80s cartoons. Like I said, if you guys know of any of them that I missed, please put it in the comments below. I'll go check it out and I'll give you my feedback on it. But yeah, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. I'm sorry that it was a little bit longer than expected, but I wanted to make sure that I got through all of these and kind of gave you my little output on like what I thought about the TV show, or cartoon, what I thought about it. And, you know, just be honest, like if I haven't seen it or, you know, if I didn't really get into it or if I know nothing about it. I was just trying to be a little bit honest. So, well, a lot honest. But also make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys hit the bell for notifications. Stay tuned for my next video because my next video is going to be on 80s TV shows. Not cartoons. TV shows. Alright? You might not be into watching TV as much. All well and good. But just let me know in the comments if you guys are familiar with any of these cartoons that I mentioned in the video. And let me know if you guys have a favorite or, like I said, if there's ones that I missed. Alright, you guys, like, comment, subscribe. hit the bell for notifications. Cash App will be in the description below. Also, my super thanks is open. If you guys want to super thank me, all the proceeds will go back to the channel. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video.